Hi all, this is Skate, and Happy New Year to you all. First video of the year, I thought we'd look at one of my favourite tanks. And that there is one of the exact reasons this is one of my favourites. This beautiful machine is the infamous KV-2 at tier 6. And nothing at all in the game beats this tank for sheer comedy factor and giggles. It has probably the worst aiming time and the worst loading time in the game. But who cares? It's a KV-2. Oh, and it also has one of the worst accuracies in the game. But to make up for that, it has one of the funniest guns in the game. The 152mm gun, which you can fit on this tank, does an average of 720 to 1200 damage at tier 6. It is the sole reason to drive the KV-2, and it is sacrilege to put any other gun on this tank. You can fit other guns with higher penetration values, higher rates of fire, but it's just not the same and it's not as fun. Now the key thing with this 152mm gun is you fire nothing but HE, and as a result, even if you don't penetrate, a lot of tanks you will still do a crazy amount of damage to. My loadout on this, as you can see there, is mostly HE with 6 AP premium rounds and 6 normal AP rounds. The reason I carry these is because there are rare circumstances where they are beneficial to use these, which I will cover and show you in this video. Now, nearly all players I know have a KV-2 or have driven the KV-2, and nearly all players I know love this tank when they're driving it, and nearly all players I know hate this tank when it's pointing at them. Take this heavily armoured KV-1. It's got amazing armour for a tier 5 tank, except for when a KV-2 is pointing at it. So this tank, with the HE ammo, which is what you should be using, has 86mm of penetration. Even if you don't penetrate, as you could see with that scenario there, I still did well over 500 damage. I wanted to make the guide for this tank for a while. I just haven't had the time recently, but it's so much fun, and I just wanted to share how I play the tank, if anyone can possibly improve their gameplay as a result, and bonus, or if you don't have it and you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it and go out and buy it right now. And the other reason is because it's the first video of the year, the KV-2 provides some fun replays. So all in all, the replays I am showing you and the information hopefully I'll provide which you'll find useful, I hope you enjoy watching because I got brilliant fun making this video. The game's so funny. Now some say the KV-2 is OP. It's not... okay, it's slightly OP, but here's the balancing factor to this tank. I've killed 5, there's 2 left. Now, that PZ player is a very good player. You can see that from the way he is playing. And the way he has positioned his tank. It's the 20-second reload on this. Now, I'm going to fire the AP at that tank because I have more chance of doing full damage. But I wouldn't penetrate with HE, in other words. I lost that one because of the reload. It was a good game. A very good game. 4,500 damage. 41,000 credits. Mastery badge. But it was a loss. I put that in just to show you how the reload can be a problem. And here is an example of how bad the .53 gun dispersion is on this tank. So if you shoot the lower plate of an SU-152, you'll pen it from across the map and take all of its health. Or what about a Nashorn from full speed, unaimed? Oh, it's so wrong. Most tanks would have missed that shot, but not the KV-2. KV-2 managed to get it unaimed through the gap between the tent and the building and get the Nashorn while he's travelling full speed. Hellcats. Another prime example of fun for the KV-2. And oh, check this shot out. So we are moving full speed in the KV-2. We are not aimed and we shoot. That's so wrong. Oh, the KV-2 is so broken. Yeah, sorry, let me just show you that one again. And my commentary is... I'm going to try to be serious, but how many tanks can pull this shot off? Look, What the hell? I love my KV-2. I promise I will try and be serious, and I will give you some useful tips if that's what you're here for. If you're not here... Oh, that poor guy. Look. Full health LTTB, and he's now... Well, he's now on pretty much nothing. However cruel it sounds, I actually find it funnier to shoot a tank and leave him on like 1 or 2 from full health. Just because it's cruel. And that's right at the start of the game. Like this guy. Just a little bit of it poking out from the front of the rock. Doesn't matter to KV-2. Oh, this is... Right. I will be serious for a second. This is easily the cruelest tank in the game. You can start a game like these guys. And now, if you look at the VK, which is just around the corner, watch the shot. Yep, through the gap to take out the VK. No other tank makes enemy teams rage as much as being shot by a KV-2. T-34 victory, here's another one. Side of the turret, straight out within the first 50 seconds of the game. That was my first shot of this game in this replay anyway. Here comes my second shot. So, nice tasty fat side, and pop. It's just so wrong, yet so much fun. Okay, so I'm going to skip a little bit forward here, just so we can get to this little MT-25. You'll notice I am on 3 kills. It lagged out a bit, but I killed one there. And then for the 4th shot, we have a 4th kill from full health. Nothing will make you smile as much as the KV-2. The ability to one-shot in this tank is hysterical. Now, there's one thing you must not do in a KV-2, and that's be a sniper. Okay, it kind of works sometimes. So, right, this replay I'm going to try and get a little bit serious. The KV-2, you shouldn't snipe really in it. You should go right up in people's faces and say hello. It's not a bad sniper though. Even this one I thought, right, I'll give an example of how you can play the game badly by just sitting there and sniping. This entire match I am going to be sitting on this ridge. Let's see what I can do in a KV-2. Now the one advantage with this tank is you don't need to aim for weak spots to do damage. Now it's recommended to. If you can get a full penetrating shot, you're pretty much going to one-shot 90% of the tanks you come up against. Take, for example, this VK. Side of the turret. 879 damage from 235 meters away. In a tank with the worst accuracy in the game. Yeah, KV-2. While this is going on, let me just run through what sort of equipment, provisions, etc. I use on this. Now, as I mentioned, the accuracy, the aiming time are the... Well, accuracy, aiming time, and reload are the 3 worst things about this tank. So I fit everything I can in an aim to try and reduce them. So in terms of provisions, I used improved combat rations, the small combat rations, and improved fuel. These will help towards improving crew skills, thus accuracy and aiming time and reload, and improved fuel will help mobility. Now this is a scenario, by the way, I should use my AP because... Although it went exactly in between the 2 obstacles, I used the AP on the basis that it could go through the obstacle, and obviously if it was the HE, it just would have splashed onto the obstacle, so no good whatsoever in that circumstance. And this poor PZ is going to learn why you don't sit in front of a KV-2 gun, even if you are over 200 meters away. That T-21 by there has the right idea. You can see he's about to try and flank me. While he is trying to flank me, let me just show you what equipment I use on this. I would recommend fitting a gun rammer, a gun laying drive, and vents. Oh, and here comes the flanking T-21. Yeah, that didn't go to plan. Never does when you're pointing your gun at a KV-2, or more importantly, the KV-2 is pointing his gun at you. So, rest of this replay, T-34 does get, well, a bounce, I think it is by there actually. And I don't get another shot on him because we've just hit the supremacy points of 1,000. Now, I sat there the entire game, sniped, and I still did 3,000 damage and got 32,000 net profits. And, well, I wouldn't recommend sniping in a KV-2. I would actually recommend getting yourself up in amongst some buildings to use them as some cover. The other reason for this is the KV-2 has the worst view range at tier 6. With my current setup, with my equipment etc, I have a view range of 247 meters. All of its other peers, all of its other heavy tanks have 258 plus. And goodbye Leo. Now when you are playing the KV-2, you should always try and have cover. I am sniping a little bit here, but I'm not that far out of the action to be useful and get myself stuck in straight away. The game does lag a little bit by here, I do apologise, but say goodbye to the VK is pretty much what we're going to find out there. Which means 2 shots, 2 kills, and over 1,500 damage so far. But yeah, sorry, what I was trying to explain was, you always need cover with the KV-2, because you have such a huge reload, you need to make sure that you have something to protect you between them. And VKs at tier 5, by the way, you can pretty much penetrate them, as you can see there. This tank is just so good. 3 shots, 3 kills, and around 2,000 plus damage, I'd say there. But, back to my cover. Always try and keep some form of cover, just to keep yourself protected. Sorry, just quickly. 4 shots and 4 kills. There's not many tanks that can do that, unless you're kill stealing. But he was full health, so I'm not kill stealing. Okay, so now there's only 2 left. We're well up on this one. I don't really care about cover, so I'm going to go out and see if I can get some more damage. Here, I change from the HE to the AP, and this is another example of why you need to carry some AP. You can't penetrate the side of that T-150 with HE, but you can with the AP, and I would have done a lot more damage in that scenario with that AP than firing HE at the side of him. Now what all this results in is 5 shots, 5 kills, and 3,682 damage. I also made a fair bit of profit in that one as well. Now that is the other thing with the KV-2. It's actually a good money maker. I average between 30 and 50,000 net profits per game, which I'm not complaining about those sort of figures. Okay, so aside from the AP and the side of very tough heavy tanks, the other best recommendation I can personally make for playing this tank is don't play it literally face-hugging face-to-face. You need some form of cover in between you, because you're going to get ripped to bits if you're close range during your reload. Now during your reload, some medium tanks, as an example, can get nearly 4 shots off against you when you're reloading. So if your shot doesn't kill them, and you're reloading against them, they are going to tear you to pieces during your reload. Now this is the best tip I can personally give for a KV-2 driver. If you are in a scenario where you are getting shot to pieces, and you have no cover, make sure you do a 1-shot kill. I know that seems a stupid thing to say, but you are better off staying out in the open trying to get around the side of that tank to shoot it and finish it while he gets 1, maybe 2 shots off you. That's a lot better than him getting 4 shots off on you. And oh, say bye-bye KV-1S. Now seriously, if you think about it, you shoot a shot at the front of, let's say as an example, a KV-1, and there's no cover between you. You do half his health, and then he has 20 seconds to literally pick you apart as much as he can. Or, when you're in front of the KV-1, you try and squeeze around the side of him, or shoot the lower plate there. You will penetrate that most of the time, and you take him out straight away, rather than do half his health and sit there getting picked apart. Instead, you may get 1 or 2 shots taken at you while you're trying to get around the side of them, but you're better off doing that than being exposed for that entire period of time. Also, if you're coming up against the KV-2, as that VK learned, never ever 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 show the side of your tank to a KV-2, because you will be one-shotted. This is a little bit frustrating for a KV-2 driver as well. You have a low health enemy in front of you, but you're better off cleaning up the low health enemy than ignoring them. It may come back to bite you if you don't. Now that low health one on the left, I'm not going to get to in time. He's going to die long before I am reloaded, so I am ignoring that one. This leopard, on the other hand, he thinks he can get away from the KV-2. He cannot. Nobody can get away from a KV-2. This tank is meant to have the worst accuracy, and it's meant to have a stupidly long reload. But you hit something with that HE shell, and it just feels great. Now, I don't know why this game was a mastery in comparison to the other ones. I'm going to assume it's because I did more spotting. But still, it's a mastery, I'll take it. Now, before we go on to the last replay of this video, there's just a very short clip I want to show you because it made me laugh. I am coming up towards the middle bay here, and an LTTB came right in front of me. And to me, this just shows the fear factor of a KV-2. I've shot him, I've taken nearly all his health, and instead of coming to try and fight me, he is curtain tail very, very, very quickly away from me. Any smart driver won't sit in front of a KV-2, as it just brings that fear factor. But as a KV-2 driver, there is only one other thing which scares you. That's right, it's another KV-2. The KV-2 can actually one-shot itself. So if you do come up against another KV-2, if you can get the flat side, flat butt obviously, or below the gun, you will penetrate, you will take it out in one shot. Now on to the final replay. Favourite type of game for a KV-2 driver, the enemy don't know where you are. And there's a full health Helsing, and there is a dead Helsing. One shot at the Helsing from across the map. Ah, you gotta love the KV-2. So, who's next on the KV-2 hit list? Let's see. Banger. So we're gonna aim up in this area, see what we can see. And there is a T-29, but there's also an SU-100. Now, the SU-100 I'm going to try and target, and I'm not going to fire yet because he has juicy sights. And you can penetrate the side of an SU-100 all day long. So, it's another recommendation is to try and save your shot to get to the side of a tank. And then there's a Nashorn. Now, you'll penetrate a Nashorn anywhere, even if they are trying to hide behind a rock. Doesn't matter to a KV-2. I've had some tremendous lag recently, so apologies for this little bit of the video here. But there is something shooting me from that bush. And now there's not. Bye-bye T-29. Now I probably haven't put as many helpful comments in this video as I usually like to. But that's because it's the KV-2. And I just can't stop laughing at the shots. Obviously E25 by here is in trouble if he thinks he's going to get shot in the butt. But it's okay. KV-2 to the rescue. And there is a KV-1S left on the enemy team, but I am never going to get there in time. All in all, as a KV-2 driver, make sure you've got some hard cover in front of you. Always try and get the soft, juicy parts of a tank. If you don't have it, just wait a couple of seconds to see if you get that shot. Sometimes, as I showed with that SU-100, they are going to turn, and if they do, it's going to be to your benefit. And if you are out in the open and you are exposed with no cover, make sure your shot counts against the tank you're fighting. So even if you have to try and squeeze around the side of it and take some shots in doing so, get that full HP shot. And obviously the last game there, we've got 33,000 net profits, 3,200 damage. And the E25 on our team had a great game too. All in all, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you found some of it beneficial when I'm not laughing, at least anyway. And just to see the video out, I'm just going to slow down and re-show my favourite shot of the video. I don't know how that hit, but it did. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Bye-bye.